should have recorded this. That was Hello, Marty Bird.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
He's getting other stuff. He's in House of Kartz.
Yes, I was in House of Cards, but not very long because Kevin Spacey touches little boys. Yeah.
I had to separate myself from that. You know, it's funny. I
actually didn't separate myself from it. They fired everybody. Started a bad.
Well, you know, they fired one person. They fired everybody a year later.
Yeah, they fired everybody. The one person didn't get fired. He was still on credits as.
Well, yeah.
But getting a check. Yeah. That's not getting fired.
Everybody else got to
fired,
work for another
Alex.
season. Everybody else actually got to work for another season.
I had already filmed all that. I got fired. All that stuff. I had. Oh, sorry. I'm doing a bad impersonation of an actor that we don't know the name of.
Yeah. Now I want to say Richard Jenkins, but that's definitely not Richard Jenkins.
My name is Richard Jenkins.
Did you hear about fucking Jared Leto?
Yeah, he's terrible. He's a terrible actor. I heard about it.
Did you hear the news that he's terrible?
Decent singer, terrible actor.
That he like with his method act. Did you hear the method acting stories about like him on Morbius?
No.
Apparently, so yeah, you know he's got some debilitating disease in Morbius. I haven't seen it, but apparently he has a disease where he's like walking on
his feet. His hands.
He's got the stilts, not stilt hands, or he has like the walking canes on the hands.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't
Canes on the hands. We're gonna call them. We're not gonna say anything else about it because we're not gonna be disrespectful. So go ahead.
I can't.
The Timmy things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Jimmy things.
The Jimmy things. Yeah. The things that Jimmy uses.
Yeah, that's much more respectful.
I told you we were gonna stop talking about it. You kept trying to fucking figure it out. You kept trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I was trying to. Yeah,
you kept trying to figure it out. I told you it was gonna get disrespectful. Damn it.
But no. So like he's got. Some disease where he can't walk. So he was method acting the whole time during set. So he was like not walking and behind the scenes. He was always in a wheelchair. So because it was taking like 45 minutes for him to take like bathroom breaks because he had to be in a wheelchair or whatever.
Yeah.
He had the studio hired someone to like wheel him to the bathroom and stuff.
They hired somebody. Oh, because nobody would do that shit. See, that's what I was trying to.
He was doing it by himself at first, so they had to hire
I know.
someone.
Let me explain right now. See, I just had this conversation with Morgan today. Most actors.
Shout out to Morgan.
Can't stand method actors. They can't stand them.
Yeah,
most actors in Hollywood don't method act.
Yeah, and like it's also like method acting has been like highly misconstrued by these like fanatics too, because method acting is like essentially
definitions.
Method acting is essentially using an experience from your past or your personal experiences to influence your your performance.
Right.
So it's like you don't necessarily need to like go fucking like run a mile just because like your character has just ran a mile in this scene. Like you just use like, hey, remember that time you were tired? Use that. So that's why there's like this.
Remember that time you was fucking that big girl, and remember she was on top of you, and then you couldn't get your leg out, and when you finally got it out, you was like, "Woo, tired." That's that time.
That's that time.
That you
use it.
That's what you use. That's what you use. You go back into that time and you use that.
Yeah, like I remember like like when I studied study acting, and I learned what method acting was, and because you hear all these stories about method acting, and now I heard that I was like, oh, that's what it is. Oh, these other people are fucking stupid.
Yeah. And see, that's what I was trying to talk to Morgan about today, but he was talking about the Machakapatapichi's method and all this shit. And I was like, yeah, nigga, I understand what method acting is. I'm just trying to tell you, most people hate people who do that.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just because people
it's
are going
annoying.
a little too far. Yeah, a little too annoying. Because I think that
I mean, it's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Everybody who's considered a method actor, I say 99% of them are considered to be assholes. Not because that they are, but it's because that they're
the at least ones that take it to that degree.
right.
Yeah.
They've taken it to that degree. Their character's an asshole, so they are therefore an asshole.
Yeah, like i.e. Jared Leto,
I.e.
who has
William
to hire
Smith.
someone like you're a goddamn.
I.e. William
Yeah.
Smith, man. I told.
Oh, is he method too? I haven't heard any
he-
stories about his like.
He did method acting for this Richard.
I didn't know that. I
King
haven't
Richard
heard
movie.
anything about this or seen it. Just seen the King
Yeah,
Richard movie.
well, you don't know anything about King Richard. You don't know nothing about their father, Richard Williams. That nigga was a beast. He was upside these journalists' head.
Yeah,
he didn't
right.
even get away
No,
with
no,
nothing.
yeah. I've definitely like.
So I'm just saying.
But
think about that.
I just don't know.
I'm just
anything
saying.
about his
Take
performance.
that into your consider all that,
Mm.
and then he put all of that into his acting.
Right. Yeah.
And he even basically said it on stage during his acceptance speech. Like,
Oh, yeah, right. That yeah.
he protected his children, and I'm out here protecting my family right
But
now.
it's also it's like I don't know. Yeah,
But-
man, we should
Anyway.
we should just do a podcast about method acting because I have actually so much to say about that.
We are not doing. Well, we're not doing that right now. We've done it for the last 6
today-
minutes, but we're not gonna do it right now.
Hello, you beautiful nerds. Welcome to the Drunk Banthas podcast, where we talk about sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and all the popular art that we love. Also, we do it drunk.
Drinking.
I'm joined, as always, by my brother Bill. How you doing?
I think I got my swagger back,
Today, my name's Alex. Today we're talking about season 3, episode 4 of the FX original series Atlanta, The Big Payback.
Woo!
We got another detour from the main story, much like
That's what I
the
like.
first, much like the first episode of this season. We got a story that doesn't involve Earn and all the main characters.
Because they're not in Atlanta.
I guess they're not in Atlanta. Yeah.
No, I'm saying Earn and
Actually,
Paperboy. They're not in Atlanta, so
they're
you can't do too many stories about them in this season because they're not there.
we got to keep it grounded. We got to
Right?
keep it
This is a show called Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta. Yeah.
Just to set up the premise of this episode, so it seems as though there has been a court decision where a black man sued an investor of Tesla for reparations for slavery and won. And this
motherfuckers.
set a precedent where every black person in America is
Hates
doing
whitey.
like a 20. I mean, not any more than usual, but now it's
Out loud. Not
now
out
it's
loud.
actionable.
Right.
Yeah. They're doing like a 23andMe to figure out who owned their ancestors so they can get their reparations.
I told Whitey, I said, hey, Whitey, don't sign up for 23andMe. You don't do it. He said, no, man, it's all right. It's cool. It just shows you your ancestors,
you're
bro.
having you're
Bro.
the water cooler with Whitey.
Bro.
It's like, I told you.
I told you, Whitey. Now listen here, Whitey. Don't sign up for that. They have everything when you do. Man, look here, man. Look, I don't have anything to hide. I don't have anything to hide. I've just been doing my taxes, man. Like, I'm good, bro. Life is good. Then look at him. Look at Whitey now. Wishing he had listened to me in a fictitious world in Donald Glover's mind.
Before we get into like the craziness of this episode, like what were your initial thoughts watching this for the first time, or
Well,
I don't know how many times you've seen it?
so it's really weird for me how, like, when you ask me that, when I'm watching Atlanta, I don't watch it like everybody else does. I'm not like waiting for Earn and Paperboy to come around the corner at some point.
Right.
You know? I understand what Atlanta is. Atlanta is, I might have said this on the last podcast, I don't know, but Atlanta is like an amalgamation of conversations that black people have to have, uncomfortable or otherwise, every day.
Right.
Like Atlanta is an amalgamation of thoughts that black people or people of color, if you will, they have to think about every day. They're forced to think about, I should say.
Right.
Like without, like they don't, it doesn't matter where you come from, you're going to have these questions posed to you. What would you do if you could get reparations?
Right.
What would you do if you went to Amsterdam during Christmas and you got to experience the Zwarte Piet?
Right.
What would you do?
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about blackface? How do you feel about white people buying the culture?
Right.
And black people selling it.
Right. And how necessarily wealth doesn't exclude you from these experiences. It's just different.
Right. How do you feel about Paperboy being a drug dealer? The first season. Like, how do you feel about Paperboy being a drug dealer, but at the same time, trying to get out of the hood?
Right.
Like, these are things that we have to think about as a race, regardless is if we want to think about them. Like, we're at some point you're going to have these kinds of conversations,
right?
Even if they don't involve you. And I think that's the one thing that's unique about this show. It's forcing, this episode forces white people to have a conversation. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it forces. This is. Let me rephrase. It is a episode where white people have to where white people have had this conversation.
Right.
Well, what would happen if they got their reparations?
Right.
What would that look like?
Yeah,
I don't want that to happen. And this is
Right.
a lot of people have fought against. This is why this is why there is no system for reparations for black people.
Right. Yeah. Because this is. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because this is very much, I think, kind of a dramatization in the minds of your conservative white person when they hear reparations, what they think is going to happen. Because I don't know what comedian who said it. Maybe it was I don't know, maybe Chris Rock, but so these rich conservative white people, one of their biggest fears is that once there is an equilibrium as far as black people, white people, or just all races, that black people are just gonna turn around and do to white people what they did to us for centuries. And it's nah, that's, we're not coming from a place of malice, man. We really just want equality. And it's
no, but see that's let me tell you why that's not true.
What? Well,
it's my ice maker. Makes a lot of ice right now.
Which part?
What's not true about is, what you're wrong about is, at least, I guess I don't want to say you're wrong, but you know what I'm saying? But people don't give a fuck about people and ain't gonna do right by each other unless there's a reason for them to do it or not do it. It's illegal. Which is why we have laws. And which in capitalism, you can't have order without these laws, because the people have proven that they will do what the fuck they want to do instead of doing the right thing. They'll do everything other than the right thing if the right thing isn't the best thing for them.
Right. Yeah. If the right thing isn't, cheaper or easier, then
they're not going to do it. So if it doesn't benefit them, then why do it? And I think, black people are not immune to that. It's a human thing.
Right.
If you're put in a position to be in an advantage, you will take advantage. That's essentially the mindset. 40% of people probably wouldn't. But 60% of people would.
Right.
And it's probably way more than that. You know, that's what slavery ends up being, you know, like majority of people really didn't like slavery for a long time in the United States. This is evidenced by the fact that it's basically abolished all over the planet. And we still hold on to it very tight.
Right.
There have been revolutions and people just up and right just said, hey man, this is fucking weird. Like it had become out of fashion.
Right.
But there was a small section of people who were extremely wealthy and benefited from it greatly and wanted to make sure that it kept going. And that's the reason it kept going for as long as it did. It's just like anything else, politics and religion. As long as the people in the highest positions want it to be that way, it will be.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think that kind of speaks to we'll
just keep pushing.
We'll
Let's keep
dive
pushing
right
through.
into the actual.
I was
episode.
long-winded on that one.
No. I feel like this is a pretty dense. I mean, whole show is dense, but this episode in particular is pretty like thematically dense.
You gotta get you some cognac when you're watching this. When you're doing breakdowns on this one, you gotta get you a cigar and some cognac. Talk like this. You say, hey, yeah.
But yeah, this episode follows like this character named Marshall Johnson, played by actor Justin Bartha. Everybody might recognize from like fucking National Lampoon movies, National Treasure movies, and the fucking Hangover movies. He's always the guy who inexplicably gets has something tragic happen to him at the beginning of the movie, so he's not in the rest of the movie. At least I would assume. I've only seen the first one. Anyway, Justin Bartha, he's that guy. But he plays like our main character who is in this world where black people are getting reparations in this I
also
weird way.
feel like he's in something better than what you just
Probably. I mean, those are the things that he's got the biggest check on.
Yeah,
I
was like, man, that was a terrible movie for him to reference. I just feel like maybe he's in something better than this, but whatever.
He probably is in something
Doesn't
better.
matter.
I do really like him.
I feel like he's
better than those things.
He plays. Oh man, I just lost it. Anyway, Dennis from Always Sunny in Philadelphia is from Montgomery, Alabama. Who knew? I just threw that out there.
Yeah, that's just fun facts.
Since I couldn't think of anything, I was like, oh, I can't really. I thought I had it. I like knew where he was from. The other thing, but no.
But apparently he is a big fan of the show. He's said that like episodes like this, like BAN, and I forget what the other episode he had mentioned in his interview. But he was like, those are some of his favorite episodes of Atlanta.
He's not the dude from Mindhunters.
No.
Okay, because he kind of looks like the dude from Mindhunters. Don't he look like the dude from Mindhunters?
Not to me.
Look at him. Look at him right now.
I know what his face looks like.
Look at him right now.
Yeah, I know it. I don't.
This scene.
Yeah, I don't personally think that he looks like him.
He looks like him without the chubby neck. You know what I'm saying? Like he just did a couple laps on the what's that shit they do now? The Peloton. He did a couple laps on the Peloton and he was good. He got his neck all
that's how that
defatting.
That is how you thin out your neck.
Right.
Just do a couple laps on the
Peloton.
On the
You can't just do a couple laps. You got to do a Peloton.
But yeah, he gets has this woman named Shaniqua Johnson who is
a delight.
Following him, just absolute delight.
She's an absolute. Look, let me tell you something. I don't care what color you are. Shaniqua Johnson was fucking annoying. I don't care what.
It's like, what, you are in my house
Oh
right
man, I
now.
don't care what race you are. You do not like Shaniqua Johnson.
Right.
You're like, oh man,
she's obviously doing the most. Like, and this is not how court works. You don't get to like serve some in anything. You don't get to serve somebody papers and be
I
like,
don't care.
this is mine.
Even if it's even if it's children, like you don't get to come the day before children's court or family court.
Right.
Children's court. You can tell I don't got no kids. You don't get to go the day before family court and just be like, yeah, nigga.
Right.
She coming home with me tomorrow.
You don't get to come seconds after the papers have been served.
She's coming home with me.
Yeah, that is
She's
insane.
coming home with me tomorrow.
But like, I do really like how, you know, like this is obviously a lot of ridiculous things that are happening to him. And even if reparations were given to black people, like, you know, they have like, you know, I would read Ta-Nehisi Coates. He has a very coherent way of going through this. Like, this is all this is very ridiculous, but what his response to everything, as I think, is what his downfall is. You know, at first he's completely ignoring the whole situation as a whole when his white coworker tries to bring it up to him, and even when he tries to get counsel from his black coworkers, he's trying to tell him, like, hey man, I've dealt with black women my whole life, and he's like, I figured, which I thought was really funny. And he was like, if you just
that's
talk
why
to him,
I'm asking him.
He's like,
that's why I felt
him,
like he looks just like the dude from Mindhunters. He's got the same demeanor. He's got the same voice. He's like,
right.
Yeah, I figured. Okay.
Like he's like the black dude's like, yeah, just if you just talk to her, tell her you're sorry, give him as much money as you can.
I think you're wrong about that. Like, because let me just break it down right here.
Okay. I
think our white guy was just, I don't think he was naive. I think he really was just playing the whole, I'm doing good.
Yeah,
like, I'm a good dude. I'm a good white dude. Like, I live in the black neighborhood. I live in an apartment complex with a whole bunch of black people. That's his one thing. Like, because I didn't realize it the first time I watched it, but now that it's the third time that I'm watching it without the sound as it's playing. The time he comes back after Shaniqua Johnson comes to his house, he walks out the apartment like nervous.
He's super
like,
nervous, yeah.
Oh shit! Like,
right?
Where are these niggas at? Like, because but I'm just saying. So that shows that he was not nervous before. Like before, he was just like, "Hey, I'm here." And like he was just doing his shit in a normal way. They even show him coming out of his house at first.
Right.
To show like, hey man, he's just a regular dude. Like, and he listens to the black radio stations. Like he listens to regular shit. Like he's a regular white dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? He knows about history. He knows about race. He's not trying to ignore it, I don't think. I think he's just like, this doesn't affect me, because of the first thing that we see, the first scene shows his naivety. Like he's naive, but only slightly because of his white privilege.
Right.
Because what does he do at the first scene?
Oh yeah, he like accidentally steals some cookies.
Exactly. He accidentally steals some cookies. And so what it does is set you up to kind of dislike him in a little way as a black person. You're like, look at him getting away with shit because he white.
And also what he want to do because he white. It was also kind of inaudible, but it seemed like the black dude in front of him got pushed to the back of the line because he was on his phone, but he was allowed to say like in the line like
because he was on
his phone like with the ear pods.
Right.
It's like they're both like on their phone, but like, you know, the difference that they're treated.
I think what actually happened is, I'm pretty sure what happened is the black guy skipped him because he clearly wasn't in line. Like he was clearly, the white guy was clearly, our main character, he was clearly like preoccupied doing his own thing, looking at something else.
Right.
Stealing cookies. And the black dude was, like you said, on his phone, but like occupied with other things. But they were basically in the exact same situation. Occupied doing other things.
Right.
But he got treated differently. And this nigga stole. And clearly that wasn't something. But also, black people, why do we have to go into a fucking establishment playing loud music and talking on the phone at the same time? I just want to know. I just want to know.
Yeah, sometimes I do be like, just
really
like,
have
hey, man,
to relax.
You can put some earbuds in. You can put
My nigga, earbuds is expensive. I know. I know. But don't come in on the wire headphones with the fucking Bluetooth playing music.
Yeah, that doesn't even sound good. Like
on,
not as good as like fucking earbuds.
Just don't do that. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
on the train. On the train. I don't need to hear cumbia and goddamn reggaeton on the train. Look, my nigga, I like all of that shit. I like I like YG. I like Yo Gotti. I love that shit. Nigga, I'm ignorant. But please, Lord have mercy, it's 7:30 in the morning. You playing this shit on the fucking train? God damn.
But yeah, like one of the reasons I feel like, I mean, you're totally right. But I just feel like one of the things that they're trying to distinguish him between like your average, I guess you would say like quote unquote ally, is that like, you know, his conversation with his daughter where she's like, "Are we racist?" And this is an opportunity, for like one of a few different opportunities in the episode where he can acknowledge, you know, racism and the history of slavery and
he tries
the nuances of it, but he kind of just like waves it away and just be like, "Hey, that's not our family. You know, we were slaves too. Don't worry about it."
What he tried to do was explain to his daughter that she wasn't racist,
right?
Because what he was hit with, see, this is also the part of it. Like, you caught the first level of it, but the other part of it is he's just trying to explain to his daughter, you're not racist,
right?
There's a reason. Listen. Listen to what I'm saying. There's a reason that they started this episode with our character being going through a separation with his wife. He's going through real life shit that matters way more than reparation bills. Right? He's going through life. He's trying to keep his family together. Then he's encountered with, "Hey, are we racist, Daddy?"
Right.
Wait a minute, bitch. Wait, what? Like, who the fuck is these kids telling my kid that she's racist?
Right.
No, you're not racist, and he's aware of what's going on. Like, he's just trying to protect his kid from having to deal with adult situations.
Right.
That's not uncommon. Any kid, any kid except black kids have to hear the exact same kind of conversation. Like, they try to get protected. Black kids are the only kids who are not allowed to have that type of freedom in which they can just be like, "Oh, the parents can protect them." No, the parents feel it's necessary to inform their kids and have them well understood about laws and what things that they can and can't do.
Right.
So I think that was more of what they were trying to show. I know there's a surface level of what you're talking about for sure, but there's also there's a reason that these characters are white. It's because they're trying to show the white point of view as well.
No, yeah, definitely, and I think that's in this world. I feel like, you know, it's. I just feel
he got
like
a fine ass Polynesian wife.
he has like an opportunity to like delve more, like, you know, if your kid's sitting in the back, you know, back seat, and, you know, he's like, "Oh, my somebody called me the N-word at school today." Like, I feel like, you know, like,
but that's not the same.
I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's like, it's a conversation about race. It's like uncomfortable conversation about race that you don't want to have with your kid. And I feel like he could have had a longer conversation.
See, that's not the situation. That's when being called a racist is being called a name. If you're not racist, that's not dealing with race. That's dealing with someone calling your child a name. That's bullying. Hold on. Listen to what I'm saying. That's not an opportunity to talk about race. That's an opportunity to try to tell your child, look, you're not what this person say. It's just like when somebody called you a faggot when you were in 5th grade, right? You're not a faggot. You know, you're not even a homosexual. But no one's having to tell you. It's not an issue about homosexuality that the conversation is had with you as an adult, like with the parent, with your mom having to have a conversation with you. The conversation is, don't let people try to tell you what you are. Right. I'm just saying that coming from a parent or a parental type of mind of view, that's the actual like shit that you will be concerned with, is just trying to give your child an understanding that that's not what you are, what they said that you are, because it's name calling at that point. I'm not trying to explain race and all that shit because that's not the issue. The issue is, are you racist? Right. And she's not racist. She's a little kid. Right. That's not the way he raised her. All that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So you have to like also take that into account. Yes, what you're talking about is on the surface level of it, but there is the other level of it where you're just a parent just trying to tell your child that it's okay to be yourself and you're not what they say you are. That's the first thing you have to establish with a child. Then you can go into the history lesson, but you're just playing more into what I'm saying, which is like he is just being a parent, but he's being a parent from the point of view as a white person. So he still has advantages in his little minuscule parts of his life. I think that's what they were really trying to show you. Like, look at how white privilege really is overwhelmingly involved in every part of your life.
Right. Yeah, they definitely touch on that a lot in this episode. And then
we definitely gonna talk about that a little bit more when we get to the like towards the end of the episode.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different stuff going on. Like you had mentioned that he meets up with his wife so he can pick up his kid. At the beginning, it seems like his wife is like sort of trying to get him back, or at least the kid kind of implies that. But then once it's found out that he owns his ancestors owned slaves for 12 years. Of course, it was 12 years.
It was 12 years for that reason too. You know they did that on purpose. You know they did that shit on purpose. Which I was mad, but I laughed. And then so then Shaniqua shows up at his job and fucking talks shit. And I thought that was really cringeworthy because, like you said, none of this is how it works in court.
Yeah, that's not how.
This is actually works. How you lose a court case in most cases.
This is how you get a restraining order put on you,
right? And she's like, "Don't call the police. Go ahead and call the police because I already been there."
He's like, "What? What does that even mean?
You been to jail? No. See, you racist. You thought that meant I was in jail. See, he racist, y'all."
And I loved this cut where he's talking to I forget if it's Willie,
his coworker,
Willie or Lester, huh?
His coworker?
Yeah,
Willie.
Where he's like, "Yo, if you just say you're sorry, give her as much money as you can." You know,
just cut right there.
You just cut. I thought that was so funny because it's like, nigga, I ain't listening to you.
Yeah, nigga, you giving out the wrong information. You giving out the worst information, nigga. What are you talking about? Give her as much money as you can. First of all,
and I think that's another just opportunity.
First of all, the nigga was right.
Yeah.
First of all, no, there's two things that you can do with a black woman. You got to do what he said. Like, you got to just concede and give up, roll over, and die. You know what I'm saying? Expose your stomach to the weakest point and let her stab you in the stomach. And you
Be
bleed
vulnerable
out.
but cute, like a dog.
Right. And you bleed out. Right? Or run for your motherfucking life, nigga. Run for your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get the fuck out of here. Cayman Islands still exists. Get you a better fucking accountant. I'm guaranteeing you, it's white men. They should have had an episode or a part of this episode where it showed other white men who were like beating the system, because that's what would really happen.
Yeah, I'm sure that.
I mean, there would be white men like
better lawyers.
Like, okay, for instance, the scene that's on right now. Maverick. What is his name? Maverick.
Who? The white dude that he's talking to?
What was the white dude's name?
Oh, Marshall.
Marshall Maverick. I was close. It's like anyway. Marshall talks to this white dude after he has to like get kicked out of his house and goes stay at a hotel because his wife wants to finalize the divorce and he's got to get out of his house. So he goes to a hotel and he meets another white guy in the lobby and they're hanging out and they're talking and the white guy's like, you know what? We kind of deserve this shit. And
the white guy is,
I don't know who is it.
Oh, he's the guy from the first episode on the boat.
Oh shit! No, you know what? So I watched this episode twice. I didn't watch this part of the episode the second time, and the first time I watched it, I was working and I was listening to it on my phone. And watching it on my phone at work at the same
sometimes
time.
You gotta multitask, you know.
All right, man, look, baby, you know what I'm talking about. You gotta get this work.
What accent is this?
That's called...
Is it Huggy Bear? Or no, that's not Huggy Bear.
That's somewhere between Mississippi and Alabama, but right before you get to New Orleans.
right in that sweet...
Right now in that sweet spot,
that's called
baby.
the Dixie butthole back in the... No one calls it that.
They call it the what?
The Dixie butthole. But I was just...
The dicks and butthole is what they call it. That's what they call it.
That's what the kids are calling truffle butter.
So yeah, man. So he goes in there and he tells him about all this shit, right? About how we deserve this shit, you know?
Right.
My dad told me he built this shit on his own. My granddad told me he built this on his own. And that's a bunch of bullshit. Because black people built that shit. Blah, 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 blah. Right? And he's right to a certain degree, right? Right. He's like 99% correct in everything that he said, right? But he goes out later and then shoots himself in the head. So he clearly didn't believe 88% of shit he said. Like
I you know what? I think that it's funny. Like I really like that whole monologue because like you said, he it seems like he did definitely believe what he said because most of what he said was right. It seems like he had some sort of acceptance in his own life. He was like, hey man, this is what we need to do to make things on an even keel because these institutions are so set.
Because he just watched his best friend get eaten by black
or maybe
people
he did it himself.
Ocean.
Maybe I don't know.
You think he killed his black friend?
I mean, he turned into a ghost, but right before he like the
clearly that's clearly. Well, then if you think that that's how it works, then clearly this episode 4 is before episode 1.
Maybe. I mean, I think that they're both just in these fictional worlds that don't exist, so it doesn't. I don't think there's a continuity.
No. I think everything that happens in Atlanta is happening in Atlanta.
Oh yeah. I mean,
but we can say that this didn't happen because that other thing was just a dream of Ern's, right?
Right.
But what if we wake up next episode and this was another dream of Ern's?
Yeah, I think that this was also a dream because the white dude's name is Ern, like the white guy who shoots himself in the head at the end.
Oh, word?
Yeah, he calls himself Ernest. He's like, my name's Ernest. People call me Ern or some shit like that. He says when he's talking to him. I was like, God damn, this is weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Hey, you know what? You're probably the only nigga who's ever said that because I've watched the breakdowns and all this shit on these stupid fucking YouTube channels, and you don't watch any of them.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to get the spoilers and all that shit. And I don't care because these niggas are stupid anyway.
Well,
except Emergency Awesome and
Think Story.
Think Story is, oh man, let me tell you something. Top people you need to be watching if you listen to this show: Emergency Awesome, Think Story, Heavy Spoilers, Mr. Sunday Movies, and Prem's Hood Cinema.
yeah, that's a good.
That's order from bottom to the top.
But actually, what made me go back because like I was reading an interview with Justin Bartha And the guy who played Marshall, and he was saying how like reading the script. He's read the script like 4 or 5 times, and he was like, "There's so many different."
Sorry,
for Eminem fans, I guess.
We're all Eminem fans. It's like people who say that like Nickelback sucks. Like, come on, man.
I didn't say Eminem sucked.
I know. I'm just saying we're all Eminem fans. We just have to quit. Come on.
I was just saying this is not an Eminem podcast. This is a sudden Eminem.
Look, I make comments in music form. The audience knows this,
right? But anyway, damn, what was I talking about? Justin
Marshall.
Yeah, he was like Justin Bartholomew. He was read the script like 4 or 5 times because like he was like I found different like little intricate things in the script each time, and it's like it happened again when I was watching the episode. Like you can see different little things thematically that really bring out like what the subject matter is.
Yeah. How about at the beginning of the episode, we open up to a whole bunch of black people working at this barista spot with like one white girl working there, and she's the one working in the front. And you show all the black people doing all the other work, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. Some Mexican people are doing this, doing that, doing that. And then at the end, it's majority white people, but with like black people sprinkled in. Like, hey, we're going to do that.
Right. Yeah, I like that.
Those two things. I guess how they like they tie together. If you watch the episode in a loop, it would fucking come back around like you be in a fucking alternate dimension or some shit.
Right, right. Yeah, it's very well done. How it's like there's like bookends where it just like the beginning mirrors the end, and it's interesting like how they're doing a couple things there. Where like in the dining area we see majority black people, but there's a couple white couples like sprinkled in there, just like showing like, oh, black people have wealth now, but also showing in the back room, it's like there's majority white people working in the back room, but there's still like a lot of brown, like a lot of Mexican people, like Mexican Latino people working in the back. It's like, yeah, there's an inequality for black people now, but it's like, oh, we're still not at a place where everybody has equality, because like we still don't have this equality for brown people. I thought that was interesting commentary there too. Is like, this is better, but we still got some work to do, even if in this fictional world.
No, I think that they were saying, okay, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that that's what they were saying. I think that they were saying, no, now look at how this is what equality really looks like. This is what equality really looks like.
I think it would have been more I mean, like,
I'm just saying.
You're right.
I'm just saying that's what I feel like that last scene was supposed to be depicting. This is what equality really looks like. It's not good. Like it's not going to be good for everybody. It's not going to be bad for everybody. Right. Some people are going to come up. Some people are going to go down.
Right.
That's what real equality looks like. If you gave everybody the same head start, or you gave everybody the same chance, some people won't have what they have now.
Right.
Some people will fall further back. They might not be last.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like they were showing. Like these people, they're not working at McDonald's.
Right.
We're not showing we don't even go back to the barista. We don't even go back to a coffee shop as the way we started at the very first of the episode. We're in a fancy ass restaurant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're in like a 5-star restaurant, and these guys,
but
they have quote unquote shitty jobs, because I don't want to call them shitty jobs, because people who make those, people who are listening to this right now, they work those types of jobs, and I've worked those types of jobs, so I know that they can be very lucrative if you work that for yourself the right way. So I think that, but they do
make a point to show homeboy riding the bus though to work.
Right, but that doesn't mean anything, man. There's plenty of rich people who ride the train here in Los Angeles, ride the bus.
That's
There's
true.
Plenty of people I'm just saying that doesn't mean anything. What you got to understand is look in the deeper. You're looking at the superficial. Look at the deeper part. They're showing you the lamb shanks. They're showing you the type of food that's there. They're showing you these bun rolls and all this shit. Like they're showing you that, and at the same time they're showing you that Atlanta has culture and they have good food and they have different styles and different. It's still a show called Atlanta, so it is meant to like try to show off that.
Right.
And at the same time, I think like the person who's managing the place is still a white guy, right?
Yeah.
The guy who handed out the checks and everything, he was still a white dude.
Yeah, no, I definitely I agree with all that. Like,
and when you go
showing
and hold on, let me just say this one thing. When you go to a majority white cities, who's serving you? White people.
Right.
Because ain't nobody else that lives in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I do understand, or I feel like I understand where they were trying to come from with this.
Yeah, I feel like definitely the dining area, like with all the black people, there is like the best, like most semblance of like, yeah, like there's more of a level of equality. But like I think that they specifically showed brown people in the back and not in the dining area to show that like that's not like there's not a full equality here. Like I do agree
show
with
the people that
there's no Mexican people in the
that's just
Latino
more,
people in the dining
that's
area.
just more. I think that has more to do with the fact that Latinos they weren't slaves, so they wouldn't have gotten the reparations. So there's
sure, yeah.
I'm just saying I don't think it has anything to do with like brown people are still down type shit. I think it has to do with the fact that they didn't play into that part of this story.
Right.
They weren't slaves. So
Right.
what are you supposed to give them?
Well,
They got to take up their situation with the Spanish. Don't be coming over here looking at us now. Hey,
I mean, well,
why? Because why is like this? No.
Hey, like I don't know.
I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
that's look. Whitey don't speak Spanish. Whitey hates Spanish. That's why Whitey had years and years of wars with the Spaniards. The Spanish, the French, and the British had wars forever and ever and ever. Now, what ended up happening, that's what I'm saying. So if the Mexicans want their reparations, you better go talk to them Spaniards. Because they the ones got your money. They found the goddamn, what was it, the Rio de Janeiro? What's the shit called where the money is? All the gold.
Oh, the El Dorado?
El Dorado. There you go. They found the El Dorado and they took.
To go back a little bit, do you just like I think that the character White Ern.
That's what you gotta say. You gotta say no Earl.
What?
What didn't you say? He said his name was Earl, but his friends called him Ern.
No, he said
Ernest.
His name was Ernest. But
Ernest. That's what we gotta call him. We gotta call him Ernest. He kind of, you know what? He kind of was dressed like Ernest. Well, I tell you what.
Know what I mean, Vern? Yeah, I think that like one of the things that he had said in his like little monologue really pointed towards Justin, Marshall's downfall is like, he was saying that like maybe black people just more than anything want an acknowledgement of what's happened. And
Right.
it's like I feel like he's like one of his like main like points was like I feel like this is the only way that every white person is really gonna understand. Like,
Yeah, but then he shot himself in the head.
I mean, but yeah, because his life is over. Because his life is fucking ruined.
No, he made it seem. No,
He's one of those people who's like,
that's why. But no. He shot himself in the head.
He
shot himself in the head because he didn't believe any of the shit that he was saying. He's actually a racist fucknut. Marshall didn't shoot himself in the head because he's not racist. He's gonna keep fucking doing what he got to do. He's gonna keep fucking powering through. That's why he knows Spanish. That's why he was able to talk to old buddy and really kick it in the same job because he was really just out here trying to be a good dude. But it affected him. Guess what? That's what being black is. It's just some niggas out here in life just trying to be a good person. But guess what? There are situations in the systemically racist system that they live in causes them to have to fucking step out of themselves,
right,
or be stuck in a situation that doesn't fit their acumen.
Right. Yeah, like, I think that's the main thing from this whole. That could be taken from.
They
this
just
whole
made
episode.
him a nigga. That's it. He just did live life as a nigga. That's it.
Yeah, the main thing that could be taken from this whole episode is just like something crazy and unjustified and or not unjustified, but just like something crazy and outside of your control just happened that systemically changed your economic
completely outside of your
life.
Doesn't matter if it was right
life.
or wrong. It just
happened.
Fucking happened.
And now you got to deal with it
every day.
And now your daughter's gonna have to deal with it, and her child's gonna have to deal with it.
And even if your ex-wife try to act like she ain't motherfucking white, because look what she tried to do. She's like, no, I'm Peruvian. She's like, bitch, you was white last night.
Yeah,
no,
right.
Bitch, hold on. See, and it's just the same thing. Niggas was dealt with that shit for generations and generations.
Yeah,
he just became a nigga in real life. That's what happened.
Yeah, it's
the big payback. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like this episode was incredible. Can't believe they managed to do this kind of shit on television.
But most people don't watch television. Most people are watching this in streaming.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying, so therefore they can do it. Whitey don't watch this show, Alex. As soon as Whitey started watching this show, they gonna get canceled.
Yeah. I always find it funny that they pitched this show as gonna be sort of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was like that
was a lie.
Yeah,
that's called. You know who they got that from? Spike Lee.
Oh yeah,
that's what he does. He lies to studios all the time.
Hey man, you gotta fake it till you make it.
He even lies about what scenes he's gonna film. He just puts the ones that they approved,
right,
and says that's what it is, and then films something else.
Right?
Can you imagine editing for him?
Oh man, yeah, it's got to be crazy.
It's a nightmare. You get this fucking scene. Oh, this isn't what this says it is.
It's like, yeah, I know, man.
All right,
we're lying. We're cheating.
Well,
we're stealing.
You can't go anywhere, Mr. Spike.
But yeah, it's a great episode. You got any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
Man, I don't know. I want to save all my closing thoughts that I have right now for the final episode.
For the final episode.
All right. I'm saying, but if you're mad about this episode because Ern and Paperboy weren't in the episode, then you don't understand this show yet.
Which is weird.
The show is really not about them. It's about Atlanta. It's about Atlanta. That's why this episode was in Atlanta and didn't have Ern or Paperboy in it.
Yeah. Spoiler alert: the name of the show is called Atlanta.
Bing, 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 bing.
You should know that by now.
Yeah, and so it's not gonna be about Ern and Paperboy because it could just be called Paperboy if they were gonna do that.
Yeah, some of my favorite episodes don't have Ern and Paperboy. Like Value from first season was
my favorite episode. One of my favorite episodes, I should say, is the one where Paperboy is on the interview.
Oh yeah, BAN. Yeah, that's
come
incredible.
On.
Teddy Perkins, another episode without Paperboy or Ern.
Do you want
technically?
So, do you want to hear Teddy?
Oh no! Please don't bring Teddy out. That's horrifying.
So I'm always here.
No, I don't want it. Stop this.
You don't ever have to worry. All
right, thanks for listening to the Drunk Banthas podcast.
I'm here.
Stop this. We do this every once in a while, so go ahead and leave a like and subscribe so you can get updates on new episodes of the pod and new video essays from yours truly.
Hello.
Check us out on Twitter, IG, TikTok, likewise, all the internet things at Drunk Banthas. Till the next time, stay safe, my little... Oh, I forgot to write anything here. Stay safe, my little... What?
Hellos.
Little Teddy Perkins. And may the force be with you.
Teddy will be with you.